Alright, we are all set up. So, we're back in Factorio. Without any further ado, let's hit resume. Now, what exactly were we doing last time? Right, so we had our assembly line for the blue circuits being set up. And I mean, we have a couple of these assembly machine 3s. Now what I want to do is start automating, what is it? Productivity module 2s and the other module 2s. So we obviously have to wait for these to make it all the way through and start being produced. And come to think of it, we need to finish connecting this up. Apparently it didn't quite finish. Alright. So we get this in, and this comes down, and in. So when the trains show up, they'll be good to go. And that's a green circuit input, that's a red circuit input, that's the sulfur input, it's already here. And then we just need the loader, which is supposed to be aligned like that. And in it goes. So all of those get placed in, and we're definitely going to need more blue circuits than this. Than just these couple of production lines. But that'll be a task for expanding it once we have it started up, I think. For now, I just want this to be technically functional. So we put all that in. We rotate that in. And now we have that. Alright, so everything is theoretically functional. So what I want to do is automate assembly machine 3s just real quick, I guess. Just get a temporary setup done so that we can have them for all of our future stuff. So we're going to head back down to the old factory, which hopefully this will be one of the last times we have to do this, because I'm planning on making production of these things in the new factory as well. Alright, so we're down here, and we need to find our module production and our assembly machine production. So modules are there. Assembly machines are seemingly nowhere to be found. Where are they? I guess they're going to be more over this way. Let's let these drones catch up real quick so they don't get all stuck and confused. Let's see here. Where do we make assembly machines? It is somewhere. We definitely have them automated. I don't know where that automation is taking place. It's not one of these up here, is it? No. What are assembly machines made of? Green circuits and some other things? So those are the green circuits, so they should be to the left of this. Ah, here we go. So we have assembly machines here, and then we get two more of those in. And we just have to take some of these over. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, that's not good. That's an emergency. All right. Drop what we're doing. Go stop the biters from destroying everything. All right. Where is this and what's going on? All right. There's another unrelated attack. Two other unrelated attacks. What was attacked? I don't see anything especially missing. Is it here? Yeah, the problem is that I don't see where the biter attack was. And it will have been repaired by now because I have drone coverage all down here. So I guess we just don't worry about it. Okay, yeah, they're definitely resupplying to the stuff that was broken. But wherever it is, it's obviously covered by laser turrets because that was one of the things that was destroyed. So I guess it's probably fine. Alright. We head back up. And back to what we were doing. Which is right over here. So we have these. And let's actually make these assembly machine 3s. Might as well. There we go. And then we take this belt all the way around and up this way and in there. Then we feed those in, and we can put passive provider chest. It's hard to tell how exactly it's lined up. Like there and there. Or not provider chests. We need requester chests. So those go in, and it is going to request speed modules. Not many, but a couple. And speed modules, just a couple. And then we power that on, and we paste that across. Then these can output to, I guess we'll coordinate it up into one belt like that. And like that. Boom. We have fancy new assemblers. Okay, and then let's limit this to like a couple stacks. Alright, and that apparently uses a lot of speed modules, among other things, and a lot of green circuits as well. But that's fine, as long as we have a couple, it's going to be good enough. So then, we go in here. We take that slot and we make them Mark 3s instead of Mark 2s. And we clear out the Mark 2s. Actually, can we just pop those in that so that they're just in this system again? That should save on the green circuits that we need for this. Although the speed modules are going to continue being an issue, but that's fine. And now we're just going to have to build these up over time. We shouldn't be using too many of them, so it shouldn't be a huge problem. As long as speed module production is going fast enough, which it definitely isn't. These two are working. Well, what if you moduled yourself? So now those are significantly faster, which should help out a lot. And you can't productivity module these because they're not intermediate parts. So there we go. That should be all set up to make plenty of these. I'm up to 17 assembly machine 3s. And we're apparently just finding all the speed modules from anywhere to bring them here. It'll sort itself out eventually. So that is good to go. Now we just head up this way through that pipeline, and then we keep on going. So now that we have assembly machine 3s automated, we can use those instead of machine 2s. And we can go up here. Alright, still no sign of red or green circuits coming to here. So we have one that's filling up and one that is unloading. So that's fine, I guess. Then we go over to red circuits and it is filling up. Alright, well let's... Hang on, I gotta copy this a bit more carefully to not get the extra belts. I'm still getting the extra belts, so I guess we can copy it from in there, and then it should tile better. So let's get a couple more of those, and it looks like that hole was in the way of the belt. Alright, so that is all constructed. So now we should have a pretty solid amount of blue circuits once these trains show up. This is 0.1 per machine. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 machines. So that's like 1.6, a bit more than 1.6, more like probably 2-ish per second, which is pretty good for what it is. Alright. And I just want to check on how close these trains are. So you're the one that's filling up, and you are most of the way full. Assuming that you're actually working. Green circuit production. Are green circuits being produced? They are. Okay, so at the green circuit side of things, it's because we've done this the dumb way. And we're filling up all these chests instead of just going directly into this last one. So that'll take a little while to fix, but shouldn't be too terrible. And then we go up to red circuits. Red circuits have everything they need, they're just slow to produce. And even then, it's most of the way done. And it looks like red circuit production is definitely going to be faster than blue circuit production, so that's not anything to worry about. And we have plenty of green circuits there, so that won't run out and need replacing anytime soon. So hopefully this is just going to be a matter of time, basically. Just have to wait for the blue circuits to come through. In the meantime, I guess we can start setting up the new area. Obviously, we're not going to have anything to put in it yet, but we may as well construct it. So Control, Shift, place, and then the drones can do their thing. There we go. And then those drone stations are powered in, so they can bring in drones from elsewhere to do this. And it's cooking along, so this is quite convenient to just get started on, and the drones will get there eventually. Always a bit of waiting involved, but we're also doing technology, so Power Armor Mark II is halfway done, and once we have that, then we'll be able to do some fun stuff for sure. Alright, so all of these remaining things are just waiting on drones. So just wait for them to get put in. Looks like we mostly just have that corner left. Alright, produced 10,000 advanced circuits per hour. I got an achievement for that. That's pretty cool. Good to know we're producing an achievement number worth of red circuits. And hopefully those will get used soon as well. Alright, so this is all going in. And it's just trickling along at this point. There's no big coordinated like wave of drones that I can see anywhere that are just going to be filling this up. Okay, let's make sure that this area doesn't get attacked. So we're just going to copy a section of this wall and paste it along. Because there are biters out there. Look, there's also a big rock in the way. So yeah, there are biters out there, so we just want this to have a nice, solid defensive wall in front of it, so that if they attack from there, we will be secure. And then let's just build that corner out a little bit, so that it's not quite so trivial to flank it. Still not exactly making it hard, but at least put a bit of a roadblock in. Alright, so this square has been complete. And now we need to get these in. So this is not Hjorvir, this is green circuit input. And we need a train for it. So that's a train. And there we go. So then we will assign this to the green circuit group. Set you to manual. And put in the train unloader. Like that. And the refueler. So that is all in. We just need to connect all that up. Alright. Our inventory is also starting to get clogged. I don't need those assembly machine ones. Nor do I need that sulfur. I don't really need coal. Actually, let's just set, because coal is the sort of thing which routinely shows up in your inventory, so I'm just going to set coal to 0, so it just gets rid of any of that that pops into my inventory some other way. And I don't need burner mining drills either. Again, no idea how those even got there, or how I've missed them for presumably a very long time. Alright, so that is just... Oh, I think this is technically not in the stop. So yeah, it wasn't getting filled because it technically wasn't in the stop. Alright, so that is just going to go over to another Hjorvir, I guess. But then we need to use this, so this is going to be where is it? Red circuit input. Okay, so we need to do train limits. And I think we want to set that to lower priority, because we need to have blue circuits more than we need these. Alright, this poor train keeps going around. Now, we haven't set up blue circuit input. And then we need to get... Did we not name this station? Oh, we didn't. That's potentially dangerous. Also, the red circuits have shown up, so that's nice. So you are blue circuit output. There we go. And then we need a train for this. So you get a train with 1, 2, 3, 4 wagons. And you're going to be assigned to the blue circuit group, which means you go to blue circuit input, blue circuit output. You go to the input until you are full. Or no, the opposite. You go to the input until you're empty. You go to the output until you are full. And then you get the test interrupt, which I really need to rename. And so now you're going to go off and do whatever that is. And then I need to add on another train for the red circuits as well. So that's this one, right? Yeah, so you need a train. And for those, then this is going to need an unloader. Like that, and it's going to need a refueler like that, and then it's all going to need to be attached up to a power line. Also, I need to remove the assembling machines and put assembly machine 3s in the hotbar. That's important. Alright, so that is all set up and ready to go. So now we just need to tell this train to be in the red circuit group. And then fuel you up, and you're going to go off and stop in some station somewhere. And probably just sit there for a very long time. Alright, we have a We have a red circuit train which just stopped in here and immediately left. Yeah, it's pretty incredible how much the stuff you build just sort of accumulates. Also, hello, Renegade. Nice to see you again. We are waiting on green circuits, which you'd think would be making their way along any time now. It's gotta be almost done, right? Yes. So the final car is now filling, and it's got a lot of filling to do. But once that is done, then we'll start making blue circuits, and then a billion years from now, once blue circuits are done, then we will start making these. Also, it's a good thing I put that wall there because I just saw some biters attack. Alright, Power Armor Mark II, up to 65%. So, we have our 3 types of circuits theoretically here. So we have this train station which needs... Oh, is that a problem? Potentially, yes. Where is that? Just getting destroyed by the iron. Looks like it's getting repaired or replaced. That's probably fine. Alright, so this needs an unloader. Pop that in. And a refueler. And then this is already set to blue circuit input. So that's just going to take a while. And then really you'd expect green circuits to be done by now. They're supposed to be relatively fast. Alright. You are definitely almost there. It's not because we're short on anything. Actually, we are a bit short on wire. But it's being filled up, so hopefully that will not be too much of a delay. Alright. So blue circuits are coming along, and then... So yeah, the problem is we sort of built up a bit of a delay, because once the blue circuits are finished, they're going to have to fill up a train before they go here. Which is going to take quite a while. But I guess we may as well get started. So let's clear out some of these trees. So we have some nice empty space to work with. And then what we need to do is make some modules. So circuits and advanced circuits are going to be making the basic modules. And I think we're going to go with 2 assembly machine 3s per thing. So we get a belt going along. That's red circuits. That's green circuits. So I think that is actually the easiest way to do that. Although it's going to make scaling it a bit complicated when I need to, but hopefully I shouldn't need to scale this all that much. Since I don't exactly use these by the tens of thousands, but yeah, I should probably focus on making it somewhat more scalable, at least. So we can bring that over. And then this goes up over this way. And actually, we just want that to be there, and then this go up a layer and then go over this way. Alright, so now we have all of those. We can put in the inserters and the long-handled inserters. And then these are going to be... Alright, no, not speed module 2s. How do you set that again? So these have to be the module 1s. And then we just have a second row here. Actually, I wonder how the math works out in terms of production. So this... Okay, well, let's make sure we're using the same type in case they're different so that they're lined up right. So that is... That needs 0.16 modules per second. This produces 0.08. So it's 2 of these per 1 of these. Alright, so that actually means... I think we need to set these up a bit more spaced. So we need these belts to accumulate them together. And then we put these back here. And then they take some of those. And then these all output onto these belts. And then this is speed 2, this is efficiency 2, this is productivity 2. And then we also need another input belt there, which is where the blue circuits will come in. And let's pop that in. Bring this down and over. Alright, so then that is in. That's not exactly how I want that set up, but it's fine. So then these all do that. And then they output to a distant belt. Like that. Alright, now we just have to get all this stuff powered. So let's make sure that these connect up first. So we go there, and then get all of those, and then get all of those, and then finally those last little bits. Okay, and then we need to make sure that these aren't connected across because that's very important. So instead, we want these to all just come out like this. And then, let's see, how do we actually make this tileable nicely? I guess we could like use underground belts to do that. Alright, so first I want to pull that back and just have more of that type of space. So this does use a fair amount of circuits, but not a huge amount. So if I just copy this whole thing and paste it over a little bit. is this going to... Well, what exactly is this going to break? Because it's definitely going to break something. Alright, so it seems like what's happened is that this bit here got overwritten, so we just have to bring that belt back and into there. Direct insert assembler to assembler. So the problem with that is that the ratios are wrong. So these produce 0.08 per second, and these produce 0.16 per second. So if we just had them insert directly, then they would be half as efficient per machine, which seems bad. Alright, now let's see if this works. I still don't really understand how far these can go. Alright, so they can't go far enough. So what we need is to do that. And then you do that. Wait, hang on. No, that doesn't work. What am I doing here? So we have those three outputs. Alright, we need to disconnect all this stuff again, because I've just confused myself with these underground belts. Alright. So that's all gone. Now, this belt needs to connect up with this belt. This belt needs to go across to there. This needs to go across to there. So this would be like that and like that, and that is correct, I think. Then this goes like that, and then I guess just merges in with that. Or, yeah, it'll be fine either way, merging or just pushing it in like that. I think because of where the inserters are placed, we need to do that. And then the top ones can just go across like that, no problem. Alright, so that will, in the distant future where we actually have resources for all of this, that will be helpful for producing those. And then we just need, for now, to just put them all into boxes like that, and limit the boxes down to a couple like that. And then in the future, I think actually assembly machine 2s need speed modules, so that's just going to have to be, we're probably just going to have to craft those speed modules on site for these. That's a lot of inputs though, which I don't love. So it's plates, gear wheels, green circuits, steel plates, and speed modules. Yeah, that's a lot of different things in order to make assembly machine 3s. Which is going to sort of test the abilities of our system here. But, in the meantime, the green circuits have arrived, and they are flowing through. And are they making it all the way to the end? Are all of these running? No, they are not. They're not all running at least not at 100%, it looks like. But they are all doing something. So that's nice. And I think we should put some passive provider chests on here, because I probably have some use for those in the drone system at some point. Alright, so if this isn't making it all the way, then what we need to do is just run up a second belt of green circuits and then take it up to there. These seem to be running constantly. And then from there we can just merge those in. And so as long as this last one right before that merge is running constantly, the whole thing should. And then we have our blue circuit production, which is happening, but very slowly. Because we need so many of these to fill up a train that it's probably actually... let's do the wait for 2 minutes thing. Alright, produce 500 processing units per hour. Achievement acquired. You'll love to see it. Alright, so now that train will go off and deliver those to over here, where we are still waiting on the other types of circuits. Of course, we managed to bring the last thing in first. So yeah, let's also set red and green trains. Oh, okay. We have caused a pileup somewhere. So first of all, that pileup is because we haven't set train limits. I should make sure to do that for the red circuits. And then run up to wherever that pileup is occurring. And I assume it's going to be train limits again. I forgot to update that with the new version of the blueprint, unfortunately. And it's not quite a big enough deal to have a whole new version of the blueprint for. So we run up here, and yeah, we have 2 trains waiting at red circuit production. So you are train limit of 1. And wait, time passed, 120. So that will obviously send them off preemptively. It'll use a bit more fuel, but it'll get things started quicker. And then I should probably set the same for green circuits. And also make sure that all of these train limits are in. Alright, so green circuit is in the group. So time passed 2 minutes. There we go. So now that should get some green circuits moving towards all the places that they're needed, even if it isn't full train loads. Right. This plastic. We don't want the inactivities on things. We do want the test interrupt. So that should keep that train off of the tracks as much as possible. Alright, let's head over here, because we have this Cobra X enrichment stuff. And it sure does seem to be looping. We're up to 81. That's nice. And our uranium train is currently away. Is it on its way back, or is it just filling up? It is just filling up. And it's taken a little bit. Alright, that's fine though. We've lost another drone. Those seem to be pretty constant casualties at this point. Alright, so let's head back down and see if our new settings have given us some modules. So down we go, over to the other side of this, and that's just filling that little corner with some paths. Alright, we're up to 1,000 processing units an hour apparently. That's pretty good. Alright, then this path needs to come down here. This pipe needs to go underground to not disrupt the path. And then we can just dismantle that since it's on the inside now. And alright, we have blue circuits, we do not have red. We do not have the other two types of circuits. So red circuits, green circuits, still missing. Waiting. One is waiting at the output. And it's just about to leave. Alright, is it coming this way? No, it is not. It is gone somewhere else. Why is it gone somewhere else? Why are you going to Hjorvir? Because I know for a fact that the station I'm currently at is a green circuit input, which it could go to if it wanted. So are you just going to wait there for one cycle or a couple? Alright, 30 seconds passed. Almost done. And now you're going off to the green circuit output again. Okay, that's a bit concerning. And now... Okay, well you're headed there because the output is full and you've just emptied out your inventory. So that's not a concern. That's intentional. But we really do need one of these trains at some point to come over to there. And then we seem to be having similar problems elsewhere. So, okay, red circuits have come back. But you've just immediately left. Why have you just immediately left? Come back. Red circuit input until empty cargo. Alright, I think our interrupt destination full or no path. Well, I don't see why you would need to do that, considering you're literally at your destination. Alright. Seems like something has gone wrong. Oh, maybe it's because this isn't pathable? Maybe these trains over here aren't accessible for some reason, and that's why. Let's see. Are there some missing tracks? No, there don't seem to be. I don't see any tracks that would be missing that would make this area inaccessible. And I mean, we've got blue circuits here. And they're even coming back for another deployment. Here we go. And obviously it's hardly any, so it just empties out quickly. So why... What about you? So you're empty, You're waiting at Hjorvir because the green circuits is full. Where are green circuit production? It's back here. And it's currently empty, so that train should be coming here. And it is. And then it's filling up. It's filling up, and then in a minute or two it'll be done. But then this train is also empty. Okay, so I think that's the problem, is that we aren't producing anywhere near enough green circuits. And if we don't produce enough green circuits, then all of the trains are always empty. So if we scroll into here, we still are having wire problems. So we do have trains here, one of which is waiting at the copper wire output and is almost filled up. Or is it? Why are you... Oh, I see. You're not... Let's make sure that you can bring enough wire to keep all of this going, because otherwise that's going to be an issue. And then do you have weird settings as well? Yes, you have the inactivity settings. Alright. Let's give you the time passed setting. Why not? So that should accelerate my rate of green circuit production, which should hopefully fix all of the rest of this stuff. So there we go. We now have wires feeding in. And that should produce a good amount of green circuits. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge improvement. So that's nice. And then these are going to show up and get filled with what they can, but it's not a lot because of the way this is organized. Yeah, I think that's one thing I need to do, is I just need to head over there and organize that better so that it is balanced. Because I built that one with old train loaders, which I don't use anymore. So let's head over there and fix that. Just drag a quick path through the woods to do that. There we go. This path is mostly pointless because we have another one directly south of it, but may as well. Alright, so here is the iron plates. That seems to be going just fine. And then we're up here to this, where we will remove all of that. So that goes out, and 4-train speed loader goes in. And then we connect it all up. So that goes there. And that goes in. Alright. So now it's actually properly being distributed evenly amongst the 4 cars, instead of all going into one, and then the other, and then the other. So I don't know if that actually makes a difference, but it might. It might help. Alright. Power armor is up to 95%, which is good because our inventory space is sort of being annoying. And then I think the other thing we want to do is to just increase this, although are we using the 2 full belts of wire? It looks like we might be close to it. It's hard to say for certain. It's hard to say if this is using all the belts. But it doesn't look like it. Although, actually, nothing's reaching down over here, is it? So yeah, the entirety of the belt that this is capable of outputting is being used. And these aren't really having any problems on that front. It's just a lot of wire that is needed for this. 4 per second per machine. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright, well, what I can do is I can replace these with faster machines, which won't solve the wire shortage problem on their own, but they will let me use more productivity modules, which will help. So we just have to replace all of these old ones with new ones. There and there. And then we just have to control click on all of these as we run past. There we go. So now these are both faster and more wire efficient, which should be a modest improvement at least. It's not going to be a huge deal, but it'll help. And then we should probably also make those upgrades over here to the wire production. Alright, so those are all in. And then we get all of these upgraded and moduled. And soon we're going to have productivity module Mark IIs, which are going to make all this way crazier and more efficient as well. But for now we're just going to have to do with putting in more Mark I modules and hope that that accomplishes something. Alright, so green circuits. It's really hard to tell if this... Oh, now these just straight up aren't fast enough, so we need... I could have sworn I had speed inserters somewhere. Inserters, long-handled inserters, bulk inserters. Did I never put fast inserters into this list of things for me to always have? Alright, well, let's add them. Apparently logistics storage doesn't have a lot. Well, that's fine. We can just technically use bulk inserters for them. Alright, power armor is finished. So now we can go over here and do artillery, or even better, worker robots. Let's see, what else is there? There's module Mark IIIs, which we're barely ready to make module Mark II, so I don't think that's needed. Let's go with artillery. Actually, where's the prereqs? Military 4. Spidertron requires some other stuff which we don't have. It's a shame. So yeah, let's just get artillery. Start that research. Oh, 2,000? No, never mind. Stop that. Let's research something that'll actually be finished sometime in the next 100 years. How about... what here is feasible? worker robot cargo size. Sure, let's go with that. Alright. We have 50 fast inserters on the way, but I haven't seen them. In the meantime, what is power armor going to take? A bunch more engine units and some module Mark IIs, ironically. And some other stuff. So we need electric engine units, which we do have producing somewhere. Alright, look, my fast inserters are here. Just charging up before they make the last bit of the journey. Alright, so we can take these and then make sure that these are taking wire fast enough. There we go. Oh, I see. I had already upgraded the top row, but not the bottom row. So that's fun. Now we are producing not quite a full belt of circuits, but closer at least. Alright, so we should head down and see if any of those have gotten to the modules yet. Because again, it would be really, really nice to have some modules to upgrade stuff with to make them even more efficient. So we head on over and then down. Blue circuits still chipping away at them. And these two circuits still haven't made it over here. Which is quite concerning. Because you'd think they would have delivered something by now. And these are all empty, so it's not like they've delivered something and it's just been used already, which is what you'd expect. They're just going to there, and they're still empty. I'm just going to follow this train for a bit, see where it goes. See if I can figure out what the problem is. So you are going to Hjorvir. And can we just cut out that temporary stop? Alright. So you are waiting there. I guess the red circuit output is occupied. Yes, so this one is sitting at the red circuit output. And it is like halfway through. But I wish I could tell where it was going to go next after the current stop. I really want it to come down here. It doesn't seem like it's going to. And then this one has seemingly the same problem. Although, no, it doesn't look like it. Are there just too many green circuit inputs? There are 3 of these, there are 3 trains. So that should be fine. Except for the fact that it is not working. Okay, weird train-related problems. Alright, so that is set... Oh, I did set this to priority 40, so maybe if I set that up to 50, then maybe that will encourage some train to come over here. But they don't seem to be super excited about it. And the problem is we can only fill up one train at a time. Because while this train is filling with green circuits, none of the others can. Which means this train is going to get a lot. And the others are potentially just not, but you would expect them to at least stop by with near empty inventories, not straight up do nothing and never come here. And it's the same thing is happening over here. We have an empty train waiting there, and this train waiting here. And that's just going along. It looks as expected. And the blue circuit train is back, delivering off another small chunk of blue circuits, which is what we would expect to happen for the others. So I guess what's happening is, if it's always choosing to go to this station first, but this station is always using green circuits faster than they can produce them, then I guess that would cause a problem. So yeah, this train stops here, and it's going to fill out all of the green circuits, and it's going to empty pretty quickly, probably. So yeah, I think that's the problem. The problem is that these trains are just emptying out their inventories in just a couple seconds and then going back to refill. And since this is being prioritized, all of the green circuits are going here instead of anywhere else. Which means we would need to like fully saturate blue circuits so that this isn't consuming as many. So how many green circuits is this actually using? It's 2 per machine. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's 32 green circuits per second, theoretically, which is a huge amount. Probably well more than the amount of green circuits we're producing. And it might wind up also being more than the amount of red circuits we're producing. So let's head up to the green circuits and just increase the quantity of production, I guess. So we have this. This is fundamentally limited by the amount of copper wire. Which is itself limited by the amount of copper. So this... Alright, so the wire production seems to have not enough copper input. Right, that makes sense. Then we have to go back to the copper input, and it doesn't have enough copper ore input, and I assume that's just because this isn't fast enough. Is this our only copper node in the entire thing? Alright, let's also give you a train limit and give those that. So if there is another copper input, I would like them to go to it, but I'm not sure we ever made a second one. No, there is this second copper thing down here, which they should all be going to get more copper. And that has 4 outputs, whereas this one, which they're all going to, only has 2. And then the copper smelting is able to handle 4. So we need to get bigger trains in, basically. Because this is our main source of copper, and it's literally doing nothing. Alright, so we just need to put in another copper ore train. So, train 1, 2, 3, 4. And you are assigned to the copper ore group and automatic. So you're going to go off, and hopefully that will help solve the problem. Although we might... Yeah, everything has a train. It's all train-based. So we probably just need to increase the speed of belts here, honestly. Oh, and also these aren't fully moduled up, so that is obviously no good. So we have those in. So that'll help a little bit. Alright, you are iron plates, and you're waiting because you have nowhere to go to. That's fine. So you're meant to be the copper. Yeah, so you're meant to be the train that is taking in copper and doing stuff with it. Although, wait, no, this is just a Hjorvir stop. This is not real. So you are the green circuits, as usual. Alright, so how are you doing? You are filling up using this. That's good. So it's just going to take a little bit. So I think what we need to do is, this is something which I think has been on the radar of important things to do for a while, is we need to expand these out so that they can unload faster. And then we're just going to have to obviously put these in and get that all set up. And let's just deactivate that whole thing. So we copy that. And can this fit one more? I think it can. So we need like each of these to be able to carry more output. Although I think this might start getting to the point where the belt speed is the main limiting factor again. Because we're doing it this way, we're only using one side of the belt, which is not optimal. Obviously we could do more if we could use both sides of the belt. Okay, then let's just get all of this in, and all of those in. And apparently we missed some bulk inserters here. Alright, that's probably good. And then we have to get all of these powered, which is going to be a bit tricky to squeeze in. I guess we could go there, and just on either side of the rows. Alright, so that should hopefully let us bring in a lot more. But it's clearly not fast enough for the belts. or the belts aren't fast enough to keep up with this improvement. So, the next step is going to be copy this whole line, get another one in, and then we're going to have to hook that up somehow. It's probably... So we have to disconnect that. Why is that facing backwards? Bring this back to there. And then this needs to do that. And then this needs to go under that and then up there. Okay, what's going on there? That was in the way. So now we run that along. And were there any other power lines unexpectedly in the way? Doesn't look like it. We don't have... Looks like we didn't get productivity modules filled into some of these yet. There we go. Alright, so now we have this also coming up here. And we need to update this, because this is no longer how we load trains. So take all that out, probably a billion other stuff. So then we can put in the speed loader here, and make sure to get it in. Then, instead of that being 4, we just have to take that down and then send this into that, and this one then goes across and into that. And now we have 2 belts of copper plates. Probably, if this is capable of keeping up with that much. Well, it's definitely draining the ore supplies quickly, which I suppose is good. But as to whether the ore supplies are going to be able to keep up, the answer to that is probably not. So we have 2 trains waiting at copper outputs, and not especially close to being full. Yeah, I think we might need even more copper. I think we might just need an absolutely ridiculous amount of copper production in order to keep up with all this. And hopefully our Mark II modules will show up at some point so that we can use those to make this more efficient. Because efficiency is a huge deal when you're dealing with like these massive multi-step processes. Like if you can save like 10-20% on every single step, then you're saving an absolutely ludicrous amount in the end. Alright, let's go down here. Any luck? Nope. Nothing to show for it, except for plenty of chests full of blue circuits here. And those are just gonna fill up forever and ever. And this even uses more red circuits than green circuits, which is kind of disgusting. Alright, so we're gonna have to wait a little bit to refill on those paths. Just let the drones catch up. Soon they'll have better cargo size, which will be nice. But we really need to get this going. So we can make the module Mark IIs pretty easily because we have Mark 1s. So if we just go down here, and this is obviously just a temporary setup. Let's see, where is our modules? There we go. So if we just throw speed modules in there, those are the ones that we need, speed and efficiency, yes. And we throw efficiency modules in there. I don't know why I did it like that instead of just putting them into these, but whatever. Then we can throw red circuits into those, and then that'll start producing a couple of these module Mark IIs, which will help get us on our way towards power armor. Although it's going to need a lot of red circuits. I don't know if we even have enough of those. But it's starting at least. At least it is starting. The old manually putting things in to get it going. And yeah, advanced circuits, productivity modules get you going as well. How is power? Still nowhere near an issue. Alright, so we're just going to have that going and then stop by a little bit in the future to collect those for our power armor. And we're going to get a refill of all the red circuits, which we used for that. And then surely this is doing something. No, it still pretty much just isn't doing much of anything. They're just keeping the things full, which are already doing fine. But maybe we can at least check on our wire production to see how that is going. We did significantly improve the copper ore supply by fixing that problem where we weren't using the second one. Right. I don't want to let these drones just chase me for ages. I do want to stop every so often to let the close ones catch up. But there's a limit to that. I do have places to go. Alright, so up here we have copper plate supply. So this is only going to the first two, which makes me suspect that it is that. Oh, also, I forgot to expand these belts out to do that. So now this is going along, and we have another one of these tiny ones, which let's just make them all large. I don't think... Okay, I don't know why that set it off to automatically go to the next stop, but I don't think making them large will break things at the smaller copper stop. It should theoretically be fine. Alright, so this is going along, and... Okay, I think we actually want that, so that the two are balanced between each other, so that we don't have this weird thing where one side isn't getting used as much. So we do currently have a pretty sizable backlog of copper plates. Let's make it a bit larger, because I think if we do this, then it'll be able to like instantly store enough to support an entire train's worth, which will be helpful. But where Where is all the copper? No path. How has that come to happen? No path to copper plate output. Okay. Why? So that is an input. That's the output directly across. Did I, like, break this? Oh. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I just messed up horribly. Cool. Alright. So that needs to go back in there first and foremost. Then we should be able to fix this without reconstructing the boxes. So we just have to push this a little bit back. Yeah, so now you're here. And these all go along like that. Which I guess it's fine that those connect up like that. I don't love it, but it's probably not going to cause massive catastrophes. Alright, so we have those in. That's all fixed up. And unless these combining across cause issues, then we should be good to go for this again. So we are filling up with copper plates and using a whole bunch of copper ore. Gosh, these biters just never stop. Alright, so at least that is functional again. So yeah, what happened is we placed the loader blueprint too close and we overwrote the rails, which was a very dumb mistake, which I should have been able to spot easily, but I didn't. And now we have hopefully enough copper. Yeah, copper ore supply is still a bit dubious. We might need to add another mine on. And we also just might need to increase this even faster, but it's hard to say for certain. At least we're making improvements. We're generally not making things worse. So as long as we just keep doing this, we'll get there eventually. So this doesn't have any green circuits. Probably because of that wire shortage that I had just fixed. So that should trickle through and get everything sorted out. Then if we go back here and we pick these up, it's what? 11, 12, and 12? Is that enough to make these? No. So let's just stand here, grab some blue circuits. Alright, so blue circuits, we now have those. What we don't have is enough copper. Why do we need 8,000 copper? For the low density structures, probably. Do I have a good supply of those? I know I'm definitely crafting them. I don't know if they're just all getting used as soon as they show up. Alright, the biters are attacking the laser turrets again, as they tend to do. Let's make that gate, because it's where I happened to find myself when I needed to get through. Eventually, like, these entire walls are just slowly just transform into gates over time. Alright, so then we can get through that. And if we walk over here, we should find low density structures somewhere in this mess. Yeah, they're being produced over here and output onto this belt. Are there any to spare on this belt, or is this just going as fast as it can? This is just going as fast as it can. Understandable, so we're just going to pick those up. And grab another one. Alright, now apparently we can theoretically craft everything except for the 40 electric engines, which is convenient because I do have those. Also, I believe just sitting on a belt somewhere. So let's run down here, find some electric engines. Alright, where are those? They're going to be way over to this side. Yep, here they are. So there's only 2 in there, so we're going to have to... Oh. Inventory full, of course it is. So let's clear out... What do we not need? I'll probably want to pick that up again, but for now it's not necessary. Hello, Cyan. Nice to see you again. Yeah, we are trying to craft us some power armor. And apparently our inventory is filled with junk, which is making that difficult. So let's try to get some of this out. And electric engines. There we go. So we just need to pick up a couple more of them. Alright, we can now theoretically queue up Power Armor Mark II. However, I think it's going to take forever to craft. Because we don't have some of the the low density structures that we need. It looks like this is still producing them. So we're just going to stand there, pick up another one. I guess may as well start up the great manual crafting. Alright, so that is going, and now we're receiving resupplies of all of those things. And now we can head back up and just do some other stuff while that crafts. And almost got hit by a train, but we didn't get hit by a train, and that's the important part. Alright, so back up to this. Copper production seems to be stopped at the moment. Trying to make it a setup for the next science, and you need a lot of stuff. Yeah, science production can be quite complicated, especially if you want to do more than just a tiny amount. Alright, this has the 5 seconds of inactivity. I don't think I want that for you. I think I just want you to fill up. Boy. The bots have adapted and are advertising different websites which aren't on my block list yet. Got to do that manually for now. Alright, but copper production seems like it's doing fine. I mean, we have all these. Yeah, the bots are pretty annoying. For the longest time, they were only advertising one website, and I just had that website on like the blocked keywords section, so I didn't have to worry about it. But they've changed websites, which means I'm gonna have to go through and re-block them. Which we'll do after the stream. not going to get into that now because they probably aren't going to be too many of them anyway. Alright. They keep chewing through my laser turrets. This is very annoying. I would like them to stop. Alright, so copper production is once again going about as fast as it'll go. It looks like weirdly the bottom belt is saturated and the top one isn't, which I don't know why that would be. Also, what is this train that's missing? Alright, produce 5,000 processing units per hour. That is a lot. And still somehow not anywhere close to sufficient for what we need. Because we need to fill up like a billion trains with them. Alright, so this is just going along. Don't have the green circuits. But there is a train on the way with green circuits. And how many is it going to have? I'm guessing very few. A couple hundred in each. That's not terrible. It's not incredible, though. So that is just going to go along. And in the meantime, this has received exactly none of the stuff needed to craft the Tier 2 modules. Yeah, so we just need more green circuit production, which I'd hoped fixing the copper shortage would solve, but there might be other problems, so we're going to have to go up there and check that out. Oh, what's that? Oh, they just caught some drones. That's fine. Should probably check that we aren't like running low on drones. Not really. I don't know what a low number is, but almost 1,000 probably isn't that. If we keep losing them like this, we're going to have to start producing them again. But for now, it shouldn't be an issue. Alright, so over to the green circuits and see what is wrong. And we're just going to figure out if we can trace the problem back to anything or if it's just... Yeah, so the problem is basically a complete lack of wire, except for when this shows up. Now we have wire, but I don't like that it was completely empty for a bit while the train was making its way over. So this is pretty much just going like as fast as it's going as fast as two belts can handle. Except for when the train isn't here. So we're going to have to figure out how long that delay is. Because it might be a problem where like we need to have a second wire train in so that they can just trade off filling up both sides. Because these boxes are decently full, so you wouldn't expect that to be an issue. We have a steady-ish supply of copper here. So is it just a loading speed problem? Because there's plenty of copper wire here, but it isn't being loaded very quickly. And then this is going to empty out before this gets loaded in time. I think that's what's going to happen here. Which means we're going to need to add some extra inserters onto this row so that it can go fast enough. Although I'm not actually sure. We might have to get extra clever because this might just be a belt speed limitation. Like these belts, it looks like the half of the belt I'm using is basically fully saturated, at least at some tiny point in there. Alright, another laser turret getting destroyed and replaced. So I think we might... I think the solution to this might be to have just more squares for wire and green circuits. Because with the belt speed being what it is, there's only so much I could do. Although, I guess... So what I can do is... First of all, I noticed that I haven't been getting more assembly machine 3s at any reasonable rate, which is a concern. But what I can do is I can expand this out to 4 rows, so then we don't have to do this whole splitting and dividing thing. We can just send each row directly into a train, and that'll make it go faster. So, let's see here. Yes, we can do that. It's going to be tough with the assembly machine 3s, though, which we should be producing plenty of, but we definitely aren't. So let's head down and see what is going wrong with that. So we just have to make it down to the old factory, where I am producing a lot of things with spaghetti. So down we go. We're not in the most convenient place, because now there's all these pipes in the way. So we're just going to have to creatively get through this section. Alright, now we are here, and we can head over this way on this weird little path. And it should be in this area, right? Let's see, what am I looking for? I'm looking for assembly machine Mark IIIs. Where are those? They're not going to be over there. They're not going to be over here. They're probably just going to be north of the regular assembly machine production. Yeah, that's where I put them. I put them in line with the bus. Alright, so this is not getting enough speed modules. Alright, speed modules are not getting enough red circuits, and red circuits are not getting enough green circuits. So the green circuit shortage seems to just basically be looping back on itself in that case. Well, we can run over here and see if there's anything we can do about that. So this is primarily a wire problem, but it can be somewhat improved with better productivity modules. So let's put all of those in and then fill them up. So those will be more wire efficient, which will help green circuit production a little bit. And then we can run over here and do the same thing with these. No, so we can't do that with these because they're end products, so they can't be productivity moduled, but we can go over here and do the red circuits. And we're short on assembly machine Mark III, so we can only do a couple. But we can at least do that. And I guess another row past them. There we go. Now let's just check what the difference is. So this is 0.22 green circuits to 0.12 red circuits. This is 0.33 to 0.19. It's a little bit more productive, just a little percent, 8% more, but it helps. Every little bit helps. And we are making We are making speed modules. That's the good news. This is producing. It's just slow, apparently. Just very slow. And I guess, is it possible to just staple more green circuits into this? Probably is. So let's place this up here. And an inserter. Actually, it should be a bulk inserter just because I'm optimistic. And then this will take green circuits, which is going to make everything so much worse for every other part of the factory. But at least it'll help jumpstart things to make them better. So this has 801 on the way. So hopefully just increasing the amount of green circuits in this. Alright, they almost made it before splitting off to charge. And now we have... It looks pretty solid. It looks more than doubled, I would say, just at a glance, the amount of green circuits that are here. At least in the short term. We're probably going to drain the logistic storage doing this. But boy, that is a lot more green circuits. Okay, but this might actually break things. Because we were relying on green circuits only being on one side of the belt. Potentially. Potentially here, that would be an issue. Yeah, so that's not ideal, actually. But we can probably fix that somehow. So this one is fine having green circuits be both sides. This one... Okay, so this one is going to be an issue. So, how do we fix that? The joy of causing problems and then having to figure out the solution. Alright, so we need to get green circuits only onto one side of the belt here. Which would be very easy if we could just do that. But we can't because we need the green circuits to continue on down the line as well. So this obviously isn't going to work. So let's cut that off again just to make sure. And this shouldn't be a huge issue. As long as we can just figure out how to get this in with priority over the green circuits. Okay, here's an idea. Instead of doing that, we do that. And then back in. There we go. That works. So the plastic is only on one side of the belt, so that is functional. And that will improve the amount of red circuit production. And some other stuff too. Alright, so that is good. And then this is at least keeping up in the short term. But logistic storage is having issues. Alright. So we are producing... We're producing more green circuits, which means we're producing more red circuits, which means we're making more speed modules, which means we're making more of these. So that is all progress. However, it's not really it's sort of made the problem worse almost, because now we have our green circuits going down here instead of staying up in the factory being useful. I'm not even entirely sure that Do we have a passive provider chest up there? Is that how this is all going? Yes, we do. Let's see here. Yeah, wire shortage, still short. So we need to dramatically increase the amount of wire production in order to keep up. Let's actually do the math. So this is almost 5 per machine, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24 machines. So that's 5 times 24 is 120-ish. This is 6 per machine times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is 6 per machine times 24. So yeah, we just need more wire production at the end of the day, which means we need these belts to go faster. Alright. Meanwhile, our power armor is still pretty far away from being done manual crafting. That's fine, it'll get there eventually. And we're back to producing assembly machine 3s, up to 16 again. Alright, we're losing a whole lot of construction bots. Where is this happening? It's happening there. Alright, so I guess it might be because this is so close that the drones are just like making it there while the attack is still ongoing. Might want to fix that. So what if we put... Well, okay, we're also getting attacked from that angle as well. And that angle. Gosh, this place... There's one apparently secure angle in this entire thing. Alright, so if we put this drone port, like, over there instead, then obviously we're going to have to wait for a drone to actually do it. Oh, wait, no, that's not going to work. Because it's not going to be close enough to connect into this one, which it's going to need to. Alright, how about instead... Oh, we're getting more attacks. And this one is actually... No, it's fine. We're not worried about losing laser turrets. Laser turrets can get destroyed. I really wish you could just like tell the bots... Maybe if you could just tell the bots not to attack... Not to repair things while there's danger nearby, that would be neat. What if we just make an outer line of defense there? Just around that area. So these turrets should still be able to cover that, but it'll mean they're slightly farther back. And then I think we probably also just want to have an additional turret or two in the vicinity. I'm not sure if those are in power connection, so let's also connect those up. And eventually some bots will go and do that, probably. Alright, so that is that dealt with. And we're still only at 16 assembly machines, which is the same amount we had before I stopped to do that, which means we aren't getting any more. Where are my assembly machines? Are there more coming? Logistic storage of -2. That is not how that works. How do we have negative machines in logistic storage? We're going to have to go investigate. Alright. It's still just the speed module shortage, and it is still being dealt with. These machines do have enough. They have enough inputs now. So what if we make them go even faster? So this is a normal one, and it's 0.5. These ones are all the way up at 0.14. So this is 0.28 speed modules per second. And then if we go over here... Okay, well, these could theoretically use up to 10. So that's not gonna achieve much. But at least it is a little bit better. And we are up to 25 assembly machines somehow. And there's still 3 on the way. We still have -2 in storage. How do the numbers work? Someone explain. Alright, well, that just got delivered. So hopefully this will be enough. I think 27 is enough to add another couple rows in for wire production, although we're going to need more to add more green circuit production as well. So we're just going to run up and start doing this. Alright, up we go. Alright, let's just check. This gear train is confused because there's nothing that I'm currently doing that uses gears somehow. Despite all this stuff that I have. Gears are apparently mostly useless. Alright, so we are up by wire production. And we are just going to... Let's see, how do we do this? So the belts are 30 items per second, right? That's how fast these belts go. And each of these is 4.6. So, what is 30 divided by 4.6? Is it 12? Well, 4 times 12 is 48. So 12 machines should be more than enough. And yeah, we see the top couple here are output full. So we actually just need like 10. 10 machines would be 46, right? Because that's just that multiplied by 10. And then we need 30, so we would need 16 less, so that would be... So I think it's probably like 7 machines per belt. So I think we're just going to fix this so that it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I lost count of where I was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, I'm going to go stand next to this one. And then, according to that math that I just did, those are useless, so we're going to reclaim them because they're valuable. And that's going to involve picking up a whole lot of copper wire, which is fine. Alright, so that all gets picked up. So then we have this, which is theoretically a full row. Then we can copy paste this and put it somewhere where there's space, like here. Alright, I think if we do this right, unless I've made a mistake somewhere, which is quite likely, if I run this over to here, and up into that. Then we need these to actually output over this way. And so we have... Hang on. How does this work? Right, so we don't want you outputting into that center because that is that one. So we want these outputting over this way. It probably would have been easier to just rebuild this from scratch, honestly. But this probably saves a tiny bit of work, maybe. At least putting all the modules in and all the recipes, if nothing else. Alright, so the power goes across. And this... Okay, well that's... I just discovered an obvious problem, which is the belts are... The output is messed up. Alright, so we need to figure out how to get a belt balancer. Okay, maybe if we just do that? I have no idea if that will work, or if it'll be balanced enough, but each side can probably take 15, right? Is that actually how belts work? Belt lanes. It doesn't... Alright. Does it say anywhere how to tell whether the thing that says 30 is that one lane or both? I think it's both. I think it's like 15 a lane, probably, if I had to guess. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16. Alright, so I think we do actually want one more row after this, just to make sure that we have enough in both sides. So let's just copy paste that and put it across like that. And then this, I think, needs to... Actually, we don't need that. Or we might... Hang on, wait. No, we do need the splitter, I think. But I think we want it to output priority to the right. Alright. So that should be one lane. And then... Yeah, actually it's... I think we do just need to take all of that out and rebuild it, because it's going to be all weird and funky. So it's going to be easier to just make one correct lane than try to figure out what the changes were in each lane individually. Now this is, again, going to result in a whole lot of copper wire going to some logistic storage box somewhere. And speaking of logistic storage boxes, let's get another couple of those in. just to make sure that logistic storage never runs out. Just place a couple more boxes every so often. So this is our first lane. And make sure that it's powered up. And everything should be good. So now we copy paste this and we flip it. No, not like that. We flip it, and we don't want to rotate it. We want to flip it vertically. No, wait, how do you... Yes, alright, we do want to do this. I was right the first time. So we put that in, and that is a second lane. And let's see here. Some guy has been assigned to do that. Oh, because I was standing on it, I think. Alright, so now we copy all of that, place it down there, and connect it across. So there we go. That is all set up. And now we go over here and we take some of that junk out. Actually, not those power poles. Those might be important for something. Kind of sort of clear space around the power poles. And then these just go in. So these come across and over and up and over and up and over and up and over. Alright. Now, instead of this... Okay, let's see. So we still do need some buffer storage for them, I think. But we don't need this much. I mean, these are still filling up like I never turned it off, despite the fact that it's been off for a while. So this is going to be... You're going to have to take those belts out. So I think what we need is... We need longer rows of these. Like that. And likewise there. And then we need to do the calculations on the bulk inserters, which is 5 per rotation, more than 2 rotations per second. So that is more than 10 per second. So I think the answer to how much we need is 4, but 2 on each side, I think. So we have to do that. So gosh, this is very annoying to do with active chests full of copper wire, because I can't dismantle these in any reasonable amount of time. So it'd be nice if the trains would just come by and take it all away. I also have another couple trains there from when I did this last time. I wonder what it is about copper wire that constantly causes these problems. Alright, so at least we have this train filling. So I would like to clear out those boxes. But they just have so much in them. Oh, power armor is almost done, actually. That should help a lot. Once we get all of our upgrades across. Alright, I don't need these batteries. Let's get rid of those. What else do I not need? Alright, so I'm going to need to swap to Mark II armor. And then take some of this stuff out of the Mark I armor. And by some, I mean probably just all of it. Okay. And then we open this one. And we put in the batteries, and that, and the solar panels. And we get that, the robo ports, the energy shield, the laser defense. Let's see, any other in here? No, that looks like that is all correct. Although, is there any more upgrades we can do here? We could grab an energy shield Mark II, I guess. That should be fun to craft. Alright, in the meantime, these are still draining away. It's crazy how long this lasts, and yeah, the problem is just the speed at which we can load the train. So, let's start doing the upgrades. We know we're going to need 4 of these, right? And then we know that these belts are going to need to be expanded out to accommodate for that. Then, let's see, I do have some inventory space, so I can just... I don't want to do that. We'll figure this out in place. So this is the input belt. We can just move it back from those and then just ignore them, basically. So what we need is 2 chests on either side. And then we need the inserters going in. So that is that. Then we need 2 belts there. So that then these will all connect across. But these belts just need to be split for different reasons, not because of how many belts they are. So these are going to be split off from this, like that. And now we have to ask the question, do we even have enough physical space here to do this? And then I guess theoretically these would be powered on like that. And just get a power pole there. So if we feed a belt into that, it should hopefully be good for that entire thing. And then there's no reason we couldn't add a 3rd box in as well, just to make sure. But now what we need is we need to be able to duplicate this for each. Which from the center belt, which is this one, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And this only has 2. So that means that that belt needs to be here, right? I don't know if that's going to have enough space, but it'll be better at least. So that, and like that. Then we get our inserters, which go there, and there, and there, and there. And then the boxes go in like that. And then finally, this can go in there. That doesn't need to be that long. And then these connect across. A buffer for the buffer. So this is just replacing the old buffer. So we're still only going to have the 1 buffer. I just don't want to remove these while there's thousands of wire in them, because that would be both wasteful and annoying to do. But yeah, this is only going to be the 1 buffer. Alright, so that should work. Although now the problem is that we have even less space here. because we're just crowding it out. So this one needs to come down like that. Is that correct? Maybe we have more space than that. Let's see. No, that is the amount of space that we have. So we have that. And then this last one is going to need to go even further off. Alright, so then we actually need this to be back a little bit. Hang on. I think I've confused myself in which direction these are going. Right, so then this has to be removed because this belt needs to come over here and in there. Alright, so that is that. Then we can power that up. And that is just one side, so then we need to put these in, which go like that, and then they get the boxes. And then that. And then these two, they get split across like that. And like that. And that should be that. So then finally we have this one, which is going to have to come all the way down here. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 space. So then we have that. And we have those. And we have those. Then this can connect along into that. Then we put this like that. And, alright, I've lost track of what I was doing. Hang on, those aren't supposed to be belts, they're supposed to be boxes. That's supposed to be the belts. And then we have that, which goes along like that. And then we power all of this up. And wow, that is a lot bigger. That is a lot larger. And I don't even know if it'll work. We might need to have more boxes on this than just the 4. So let's figure that out now. So we run this belt along up to here. Don't go under the tree, just get rid of the tree. And get rid of that random belt, which we don't need. And that random belt, which we don't need. And then that goes into there. Alright, so is this... Yes, this is capable of keeping a full belt of output stable. Cool. So now we just have to do that for all of them. Although I might have done... It seems like I've done the math wrong on how much input they can handle. So that's fun. We're going to have to figure out what's going on with the inputs there. Get rid of these trees. Then this comes down that way and in. And then this is the last one, which comes down this way and in there. Alright. So now we have a a train loader capable of sending a full belt into each train. And now we just need to figure out how I've done the math wrong on this. Okay, so is the problem... I think the problem is just... Do these need to be fast inserters to output fast enough? Let's do that and see. And that's definitely helping. Looks like the answer is yes, that was the problem. Alright, more fast inserters for everyone in that case. These get to be fast inserters, as do these. So there we go. All of those go up. And then we get these ones to be fast. And done. So now we have what looks like almost full, but not quite. So why are these not quite full? Oh, they're not full because now we have a copper shortage. Which looks like it is not anything serious. It is just that the train isn't currently here. Although the train is over here and it is not filling up. Alright, so we've gotten the wire working, and now the copper ore supply is completely stagnated because there is a... Alright, there is a traffic jam down over by the south of the factory. So we're going to walk down there and figure out what's going on. So down we go to investigate that problem. If we can just get enough copper ore supplied, we should have the wires to keep up with green circuits. Alright, so what is going on down here? Oh, I think I know. Yeah, so this is a problem. I had thought that we could fit length 4 trains into this, but it's a problem for a couple of reasons, actually. Okay, that's fine. First of all, you go to manual, and we're going to get you out of the way. So that actually just works a little better for that, too. Alright, so that's providing copper to this again. So what we need to do is we need to make this train station capable of taking from 4. And it doesn't need to be... It doesn't need to have a gun turret there. So, first of all, 4 train unloader. How do we get this to line up? No, not the loader. The unloader. Alright, so this lines up approximately like that. Which is fine. We're gonna have to fiddle with some of these belts again to make this work properly. So those go under there. That's probably turned off like half the factory somehow. And then they merge up and go in like that. Alright, so now now we have a station capable of handling the 4-length train. What we don't have is the ability to get the train into that station. So we need more space over here, which I guess will mean that these gun turrets don't have ammo or exist anymore, but that's probably fine. We should go through later and re-put that in, but it shouldn't be an issue in the short term at least. So then that looks like it lines up, but it actually doesn't, because of course not. Right now it looks like it does actually line up. So we need to change some of this a little bit. So first of all, we need a signal there, so that these are good. Then we need a signal there, so that those are separate things. This cross line doesn't need to exist at all. And is that just everything all sorted? Looks like it. Okay, so that happened because this train isn't technically in the station. So I'm going to set you to manual and head off, dismantle that little bit. And that should be that problem solved. And while we're upgrading these, let's give you the full length treatment as well, and then set you back to automatic. And then I think we're going to have to go down and mess with the copper input as well. The short one, because it's only meant for 2-length trains, because I built it like a billion years ago. Also, it would be nice if this just ran out of copper so I didn't have to worry about it anymore, but it hasn't happened yet. So I assume we're going to have a train stuck down here because it's never going to fully load up. Yes, that is indeed an issue that this has. So we need to fix that. First of all, by again hopping in, pulling it a bit forwards, and just getting it out of the way, although it's probably just sitting in the intersection. Yeah, that's definitely not where we want that to be. Let's put that in there so it can be signaled properly. And then we're just going to have you sit there for a minute while we figure out how we do this. So I think we have to just like take out this entire section of rail and redo it. So we need... This loader is perfectly fine for this particular copper mine. So yeah, we just have to take out this whole section of rail and redo it, so we're not going to worry about where the rails are. So those all go away. I'm not going to dismantle those crates with copper in them, because that will be a nightmare to replace. Then this just goes back there, and we want to leave enough space for everything to work out. Oh, this is not actually aligned properly, because rails are weird and dumb. We have to take all that out, and we took out a bit more than I intended. So now we have an inventory full of copper junk that is going to be dismantled. Oh, I did end up crafting that, so let's throw that in the old inventory so that we are now slightly less vulnerable to getting shot by biters. And alright. Now all of that happens, and we seem to have depowered this whole area. Let's pop that connection across before anything weird happens. There we go. Alright. Now we get rails, which I think we're going to put in, like, there. And then we can put in, not the unloader, the loader. We can go here, and how about just like that. So all of those go in, and we're going to need to connect power across. And I assume those are going to be copper trains complaining about how they can't get to here. We're just going to ignore that for now. And, alright, so we run the copper in. So this is obviously not the full speed thing, but it's probably good enough for this since it's only running off of like literally half of a belt of copper. So now we... Okay, so this train station is obviously no good there. Now we need to connect this around to just like as sharp as it'll turn, I guess. We should put the station in so that we know how far back we have to go. Alright, so that is the station position, which gives us the most space for this turn here. So we're going to put that in, take those rails out, and then immediately start the turn, which I guess that technically works. There aren't, technically speaking, any issues with having it do that, I don't think. Although it might be a bit close to this. I actually don't know if that's an issue. Let's try. Yeah, okay, so that shouldn't be a problem from a block perspective. And then we take this around to there. Hooray for incredibly weird and extremely cursed train designs. Alright, not enough logistics network storage available. Oh, right, because this place, I believe, is technically cut off from the logistics network at the moment because we dismantled a drone hub. So that goes in there, gets powered up. Now this is all connected in again, and it should be functional. So we just have to hope that someone gets that train, which I guess I could do it. There we go. Now this whole thing is connected up, and so we just need to go down here, call this copper, I have caps lock on, copper output, and select, and it should be all set. So now you can go back to your normal business, and this is all good to go, probably. How much copper is here left? Still a significant amount, so I'm not going to worry about that. And that should... Let's just check, actually. So we have one waiting at the copper output. We have one heading to Hjorvir for some reason. And then we have one coming down to this one, I guess. Yeah, here it is. Alright, you. Why? What are you doing? Okay, so you also want to go to the copper output next because I took you off in the middle of that. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit for them to get back sorted again. But pretty sure it is all functional, so that's fine. We even have that train going up. Alright. So that's that. Now we can run up here and see if that has fixed our copper production problem. It's quite likely that we're going to have to do similar expansions for iron in the near future, but I don't think we need to right now. So as long as that's the case, then I'm perfectly happy to not do it, because I might come up with some clever idea, because our current train loading system is quite large. I'd really like to come up with some scheme to make it less large so that we can use more of the space in the train blocks just doing production instead of just moving resources around. Alright. So you are waiting here. Why are you waiting here? Yeah, so I guess because all the iron plate inputs are being handled, probably. I hope that's why. I hope it's not because of some other weird problem. Alright, so iron plate inputs. Where would one of those be? Not down here. We do have this train, which is mysteriously sitting here. What? What are you doing? You're set to automatic. Oh, is the signals... Got it. Alright, we have a deadlock. That's what's happened. So this needs to be set to a train limit of 1. And then we need to send you through just somewhere out of the way. Alright, we don't want to stop in a station. That would be bad. Alright. Yeah, you can be somewhere here, I guess. And then go back to whatever it is you were doing. And hopefully that should resolve that deadlock and it won't show up again. Alright, so, yep. Trains are moving. And we have... Oh, we have red circuits here. Not many, but some, at least. That's good to know that they can actually get here. So now once we get a wave of green circuits in, then maybe something can actually happen in this area. Alright. Still not doing well on the green circuit production. And that, at this point, we should have upgraded our wire production enough that it's just the green circuit production which is short now. Hopefully it should be getting all the wire it needs. So let's head over and verify that fact. If I can figure out how to get there. Sort of generally over on the eastern side. And then we go up a little bit. And here's the wire. Okay, don't get hit by a train. So the wire is theoretically very cool, but not getting any input. The copper train is sitting there uselessly because we're not getting any copper ore. I thought I had just fixed this. We do have a train on the way. It's making its way here. It's just a bit of a journey, I guess. So yeah, that's gonna take it a while. I think we might need... Maybe we want another input train. Seems silly, but it might be necessary. Is this at least full? It looks full, yeah. Alright, so that is going well now. So yeah, the question is, we might need a second train so that they can run more regularly. And just like one can be filling up while the other is emptying. Because currently, if we check this, so we have this one is outputting here. This one is outputting at the old factory. We're only filling up that one at the moment. Okay. We really need to upgrade our defenses and figure out how to stop them from constantly blowing up our construction drones. It is getting a bit expensive. And this is already... Okay, it's not quite running out. The couple that get used the most are. And let's see, this isn't even 2 full belts of copper. Somehow it's just very slow. So I think we might even want more of this production, because even at full production it's not that quick. I don't know if this needs 2 full belts of copper, but it probably needs close to it. And then we have no other copper to use, which is not ideal. Also, are these set to be capped at all? No. These are just going to take all the copper ore that they could get. That's good. That's what I want. But what I don't want is this. So yeah, I think we just need to put in at least put in another train, and we might straight up need to go to another copper mine. So you're assigned to the copper ore group and set to manual. So I don't know if that'll help. Hopefully it will. If that doesn't help, then the solution will just be that we need another copper mine. For now, though, it's very satisfying seeing these belts just like slowly fill up and drain. Like, we're currently outputting less copper ore into this system than we were, which means that this is going to slowly trickle out and eventually empty. Okay, there's a green circuit train which is heading down that way. That's fun. Maybe we can get some tier 2 modules to make all this stuff more efficient. That would be cool. Let's head over there and see if by some miraculous accident we have any there. Oh, I think that might be, actually. Yeah, that green circuit train is providing green circuits into this. And we have red circuits and blue circuits in pretty significant quantities. Now we have green circuits too. Alright. That means that we are producing tier 2 modules. It'll take a bit for them to go, but it is happening. which is pretty great. So the productivity modules are the real thing that we use a lot of. The others are just sort of whatever, but productivity modules are great. Alright. So this is just going along. I don't want to rush this too much, because then we're going to just have more issues. And these are all limited at 2 stacks, which is good. So then this is, yeah, this is starting up. It's taking a bit. Looks like the speed modules are slightly off center, so they're not working quite as full, but let's see. What I don't get is how this has an item ingredient shortage. Oh. Am I dumb? How did I miss that this needs red circuits too? Alright, that's fine. It's not a big deal. We just need to finagle this belt around. Okay, so what we need to do is cut that off there and do that, and then stand here and eat some of those blue circuits. So there we go. And we're just going to stick any spares that we have just right back in, probably. Alright, so now we head over here and we fill up a box with a couple stacks of blue circuits. I'll actually keep 1 full stack for myself, just in case I need them. And now we are going. And going pretty quick, too. This should be full speed now. Shouldn't have any difficulties with these resource demands. It really is just a matter of getting the full trains. Alright, that is all good. And yeah, we already are up to 8 of those. So we're just gonna give it a bit to get ahead, and then I guess there's no point doing that. So we're going to replace that request with productivity module 2s. And we only really need 50 of them on hand at a time. And do the same thing with the other modules. So just give me 50 of those. And do I even have... No, I don't even have efficiency modules requested. That's how incredibly useful I find them. Productivity modules are the best. Speed modules are the second best. Efficiency modules are just for power and biter concerns, but I'm not concerned about either of those. Alright, worker robot cargo size has gone up. Inserter capacity bonus. I guess, but I don't really need it. Let's get productivity module 3 researching at least, because this is more of the same. So just more advanced circuits, processing units, and productivity module 2s. So that is going to be a major upgrade. Like to go for research efficiency? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Is that actually... Is that just the speed, or it's not also how much research it goes, right? Because I thought it was just how fast the labs physically run. But you're probably right on that. I mean, I don't know, but because I figured it was just how fast the labs physically run, in which case my limitation is the research packs, not the amount of labs, so that's not really a concern. It might be changed in space age with the current patch. Maybe, yeah. I have no idea about any patches for this game. I've obviously only started playing recently. So it might have been different in a previous time. Alright, so that train is going along and accomplishing nothing. These are all going... Yeah, that makes sense. There's definitely a lot of stuff in like Satisfactory 1.1 that I just forget was added in 1.1. I'm just like, yeah, obviously you can do that. Alright, so this is refilling with green circuits. Red circuits are still a bit low-ish, but they are already receiving a refill. So yeah, I guess this is mostly just going now. Although, why is the last spot empty? That's suspicious. That's very suspicious. Because theoretically, they should all be about even, right? So let's run up to where the red circuits are and see if I've misplaced a belt somehow. Alright, over here. Okay, now here is another fun problem. Train limit of 1, please. And let's see, I think we need that stop. I think just a train limit of 1 should fix it. So then you go somewhere. How about over this way? And then, now that you're out of that, you can start going again. And there we go. Another annoying little problem solved. I really need to just run through and get all of those at some point. It's not a super high priority as long as I notice them every time they happen. Alright. Red circuits are not getting any plastic. Why are red circuits not getting any plastic? And also, was there some problem here? No, this looks correct. Yeah, so it's just that I guess that one coincidentally has slightly less red circuits in it. Alright, so plastic production. What is wrong with plastic production? It might have honestly just been that it was stuck in that backlog. Alright, so this... Well, these chemical plants never got a recipe, so that's going to be part of the problem. And then this is supposed to be petroleum, but it hasn't gotten any. Why not? So you're waiting at the petroleum input somewhere else. No, you're waiting at the petroleum output. You're just waiting at a random stop. So you're empty. And you are empty. And this whole thing isn't working. So we have crude oil. We have water. Oh, I see. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was just that the crude oil train got stuck in a traffic jam somewhere. Because this is starting up now. Alright, that's fine. Not a concern there. Alright, let's see. It is currently 4:54, so I think we're going to have to call it there. Thanks for hanging out. You have made significant progress. We have fixed a ton of bugs, and we've gotten the next tier of modules producing. We have significantly enhanced wire production. And then next time we're going to work more on the assembly machines and the maybe even the tier 3 belts. So make sure to stop by again if you're interested in that. I will be streaming Factorio again on Tuesday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. Otherwise, if you're just interested in factory games more generally, I will be streaming Satisfactory tomorrow, where we are just expanding a giant rocket fuel factory. So we have a lot of rocket fuel, gotta use hundreds and hundreds of fuel generators to get power out of it. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow and probably the next couple of streams after that as well. So that's about it. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, so if you're interested in factory games, make sure to follow so that you know when I'm live, and that is about it. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.